So right now, any Ninja Turtles fan is suffering from two things. One, becoming overjoyed with just seeing all of the new merchandise from the new movie. And two, the struggles of going out shopping with literally any store and being tempted to pick up some new fun merchandise, like what I have right here, which is the 2-pack battle packs from Mutant Mayhem. We have all four that you could see on the back. I only happened to get Raphael versus Rocksteady and Michelangelo versus Leatherhead. I'm going to have to be on the lookout for these Walmart exclusives for the Donatello and Leonardo one. And that'll be good because wallets are struggling right now for any Ninja Turtles fan. And these packs also come with a, looks like a background stand. I'm not sure if they're going to be cardboard or if they're going to be plastic. So for the price, I'm assuming cardboard, but I've seen some pretty cool cardboard backings before, so we will take a look at the quality and see how it looks. So let's open this guy right up. These are Playmates figures. They made the original Ninja Turtles, so they're still going strong with the line. And I personally like the new look of the Ninja Turtles from Mutant Mayhem. I've heard some criticism when it first came out. I think now that the movie is doing very well, some of the critics have adopted the kind of the new style, but in my opinion, they grab a lot of the characteristics of each of the turtles. They give them a lot more personality. So I'm a huge fan. So now let's take a look at the background. It is cardboard. So this one is the workout dojo and gym, and we got some gym equipment back there, and we've got the sidewalk that they're standing on, and it looks like a back flap that we can help it stand. So let's steady the camera and get this action going. So it looks like it pops right out, and there we go. So now let's free our turtle and rhinoceros and put them in action in the display stand. So they are tied in there nice and tight, similar to the other Mutant Mayhem figures, that the single packs. Actually, one interesting thing to mention about these is Playmates is really smart, knowing either the collectors or the kids that are going to go after these. These are actually not the exact same turtles from the single packs. These are the battle damage ones. So you can see that they have some blood marks and scuffs. So you can actually collect both of them, and you don't have the exact same figure. They have the same weapons and probably same shape, mold, and paint, other than the battle damage, but they're still different, and I think that counts. So I think we got all of the ties off of Raph. It looks like there's still a little rubber band keeping his side together, but all in all, this is just a really great looking figure. His head's a little bit stiff. Probably have to work it through. Just gonna use 2 hands on that one. Yeah, I mean, he's got a thick neck, so I think that is what's probably making it a little bit tight, but once you get it going, he's got some pretty good articulation. And we'll take this rubber band guy off. It looks like it's actually tied to his belt, which I'm sure there was a packaging design of what would keep things in place, and his size kept falling out, so they had to go through some extra levels of effort. But to actually have it tied in there like that, and then you can see it's actually looped through itself to knot on the belt, which is secure. I'll give him that. And then actually where it was on the belt, that's where his size goes, so you can actually put them in. Actually, I do like the design of these size compared to some of the other Ninja Turtles toys. They're a little bit wider at the base of the blade, which I think is pretty cool. It looks like he's got a little bit of a cut in his hand. Probably a chopstick accident, if I had to guess. You got to be careful with those things. Yeah, we see a little bit of his battle damage. He's got his bruises, his scuffs. His shell's in pretty good shape. But man, his arms, and he's had a rough run with Rocksteady. So yeah, and his arm articulation is really good. He's got full mobility. The forearms and the don't have that much mobility, and the ankles, they just go kind of left and right. But the shoulders and hip joints are really top notch. So you can get some really cool poses out of these. But once you move the arms, I'd just be careful with the elbows just to make it not look awkward, just based off of some of the flexibility around the pads. All right, so now we are going to release our rhino. So when I first saw the design of the villains, I was not fully on board. Their proportions are a little bit off. So I'm actually glad I was able to get one so I can kind of see it and play around with it. The more I see them, the more I kind of understand them and I get them and the cartoonish look of them. I have a tough time. I do really like the original designs of these characters, and like the turtles are the same basic shapes. They just look different. These ones, they took a very, very bold change of the design and kind of made them a little bit more like anthropomorphic and took the shape of the actual animals. The articulation of the arm. All right, so I was not expecting neck articulation on this character. This is one of the coolest pieces of articulation I've seen. It actually goes back and forth. It's not just a solid piece. This is actually a new piece of articulation. I don't think I've ever seen any figure have something quite as ridiculous as that before. I absolutely love that. That is cool. And then yeah, his arms are really good. For a big bulky figure like this, the articulation is much better than I was expecting. This is pretty incredible. So kudos to the toy designer who worked on the joints and articulation. This is pretty amazing. Yeah, and his face, there's a lot of really good design in this figure. I'm starting to take back anything I said about being on the fence on the design of these. They're just not traditional, not what I was expecting, but I really like these. I'm on board with them. Yeah, he just the one thing about it, his head does look like it's a different plastic type than the rest of his body. It's got a little bit of a gleam or a shimmer to it. Not entirely certain on that. It just looks like it's different, but that's okay. I'm not too picky when it comes to that stuff. And now we have our Mikey versus Leatherhead. Leatherhead being one of my absolute favorite of the original Ninja Turtles Playmates line. So I was very excited to see Leatherhead was making an appearance in this movie. So now let's open them up and see what their background looks like and what the figures look like, and maybe do some posing. And I think I also want to do a comparison against the original Ninja Turtle lines. I do have Mikey and Leatherhead displayed nearby, so I can pull them down real quick and we can just see which we like, any highlights, any differences. I already know my thoughts on them, but I would love for others to share what their thoughts on about the new designs versus the old designs. So this background is the skate shop, which we got some graffiti, some stickers. We have a skull and crossbones drawn or painted on the sidewalk. And let's get it out. And now I believe these interlock with one another. I think it does display like a streetscape. So let's take a look. So it looks like the cardboard unfolds. I'm assuming there's going to be a slot on the other one where it slides into. Yep. So that goes right in there. And there do appear to be notches on the top. So there's probably something. Yep. There's a little piece of cardboard in the back. It looks like a vent pipe or maybe a drain pipe. And it's got 2 notches on it as well. So it looks like it folds over and slides right in. And that will keep the top together. And there's one on the other one as well. So as you get more of them, you can just take those pieces off and you can start connecting them. So, yep, so it slides. It's got notch for notch. And then it slides in. And like I said, it looks like maybe like a grate or a vent. Sorry, 2 hands would be helpful with this. So I think I'm going to have to put my camera down or just smush it up for a second. So bear with me as I make this. Ta-da! And just like that, it's easy with 2 hands. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. It does flow pretty seamlessly together. So now it's more inspiration to pick up the other 2. It's a pretty big display though, so you're getting 4 of those side by side. You're gonna need a big long flat surface, probably gonna be behind something, maybe against the wall on like a high shelf or something. but that's just what I'm gonna probably go with. And maybe I'll put the originals in front of them, like the Rocksteady versus Raphael, and then Mikey versus Leatherhead. I think that would look pretty neat. So, and let's cut off Mikey's ties. Mikey does have a little bit more ties than Raphael did. I think since Raphael had the rubber band, Mikey's nunchucks were, one of them was loose, so that adds some more ties. And it looks like, yeah, this guy's got a little bit. So it's a combination of the rope material ties as well as the plastic ties for the smaller weapons. So I think that guy's still connected a little bit. So we missed one. In all of our yammering on about Ninja Turtles, I missed a tie. So I'll just get that guy off real quick. That should be the last of them. And let's test my luck. And we have a free Mikey. And then he just pops right out. Like I said, pops right out. Hey, look at that, easy. So there we have Mikey, and we've got his nunchucks, which we'll take a look at those in a moment. They've got the solid chain piece on. They're the two same ones, as opposed to like the nunchuck with the chains in the middle, like an actual chain where it moves around. So Mikey is so much smaller than Raphael, which I really like. They really made them unique versus the originals, which they're all the same design. So Raph is just gigantic, more muscular, bigger turtle, bigger muscles. He's got the neck muscles going on. So they really captured their personalities and gave them a lot different of design. So they really spent the time to make each of the turtles their own unique character, which is really, really cool. Most of the other originals, like think about the movies or the cartoon, they're all the same design. It's just some little feature differences. And then you look at Mikey's feature differences, and he looks crazy. He's got wild eyes and a big smile, so they've got Mikey down pat. He's got a lot of damage on him, and his nunchucks look pretty cool when they're swinging like that. And then on his back, it looks like the nunchucks go into these holsters. However, his nunchucks are, so with the big chain, I almost think you have to like swap them out, like skip one and the other, like I'm trying to do here. I think that's probably the best way to display them versus trying to do this of just putting them on the same. I guess realistically, you'd probably want to put them the opposite way with the chain down so it looks like it's hanging, but I'm not going for realistic right now with my fighting turtle. So I don't quite like the look of that with them on the back like that, so I feel like my Mikey, as he should, will always be holding his nunchucks, because displaying your turtles with their weapons out, unless it's Leonardo, who I like to have his weapons put away a lot of the time, because that's just his character, and I feel like that fits his character very well. He doesn't like to take out his blades unless he's ready to battle. So this Michelangelo is pretty amazing. I really, really like that one. And now let's go on to our fourth character before we do the comparison to the originals. And let's free our Leatherhead. So if we were able to get a Leonardo and had him open, we'd be able to use his weapons to cut it, but we have an X-Acto knife, so it works. All right, so his accessory is like a little shotgun, some pretty cool detail on that, and it looks like it goes right in his hand, which he is also rubber banded up. I'm not sure what that was holding the gun in place, which just came off. Similar to Raph, it's tied to his belts with a loop through it, so it's on there pretty good. And for packaging, it looks like his tail is backwards, so after we get his hand in place, we will fix that to make him look like a normal alligator, not one that was just spun around cartoon style, smacked in the face with a frying pan. So there we go. It's actually got some pretty good articulation on it, so it doesn't just spin around, it goes up and down. So if he's happy, he can wag his tail a little bit. And his arms are really, really super skinny, so the articulation on them is actually pretty cool. They could move around a bit. He's got his battle damage. He's got stout little alligator legs, and he's got his, I'm not sure if those are glasses, if they're like binocular scope things or night vision. Probably, I would guess night vision since he's like a hunter. But yeah, looks looks pretty cool. He's got his hat, and he's got a holster for his weapon. So let's slide that in there, see how it looks. Uh, the gun is a little bit bigger than the holster, but the holster is made of a softer material, so it looks like it will slide in. Just going to pinch it open a little bit. There we go. So now he's ready to go. He can grab it over his shoulder if his arms could reach. And I did notice that of all of the characters, Rocksteady is the only one who can actually holster his weapon. I just spun him around to make sure. But Raphael and Michelangelo and Leatherhead all have a spot where if you wanted to put their weapons away, then they can do it. So, yeah, really like the gun that he came with, and his facial features and his smirk is just really awesome. Like I mentioned earlier, Leatherhead's one of my favorite Ninja Turtle villains. So, having him in a new form that's just so different, I really appreciate that. I enjoy that. Let's take a little fly through of our nice little set, their battle damage, and then we can compare against what some of the originals look like for Michelangelo and Leatherhead, so we can see just for comparison, um, do they look better? Do they look different? Do they do them justice? So I, for one, think the original Playmates line is one of the greatest line of toys ever created. So I will never say anything Ninja Turtle is better than them. So my comparison will be how different they are, but for the better. Like, are they still worthwhile getting? So you can see the originals. They're very clean. They're very cartoonish. They're a perfect toy to play with. They're solid. And then this new one has a lot more facial features to it. It has a lot more personality. You can see like the white eyes and just the smirk of Michelangelo. It's very similar to all of the other turtles, so you can't really tell it's anything about his character. But now with this one, you can. And then with Leatherhead, I think the original Playmates toy actually had a lot of personality and a lot of character and an articulated mouth. So I think both of these are completely different. They capture a lot. To me, these almost look like two different characters, which I think is perfectly fine. I love them both. This original Leatherhead is still one of my favorite toys of all time, but this new one I also really like. So they get a thumbs up and a double thumbs up. Thanks for watching. Go pick some up. Enjoy Turtles.